You can try to forgive somebody, but that bitterness will hang on and hang on and hang on until you realize that you yourself have been forgiven of it. Until you realize that you yourself, that mercy has been poured out on you over and over and over. I'm not just talking second chance here. I'm talking third chance and 10th chance and over and over. Mercy has been present. Mercy has endured forever in your life. And in the last 2 years of my life, man, I have had to wake up nearly on a daily basis and say, God, mercy. Mercy, mercy, mercy. And some of you may not realize this. Some of you may be new to the church or just didn't realize this. But in 2002, I was married. I got married then. I said that in the last service, and there was a great big huh from the other side. But I was, and really from the word go, it was hard. And of course, that's not a surprise to anybody. Those things often are. But I'm talking about in another way. I'm talking about a way that just tried its best to build hopelessness right into the heart of me. And for over 2 years, we were in the middle of hell on earth in our home. And it was day in and day out of strife. And I look back across it, and the number of times I've gone to the Lord, gone to my family, gone to different ones just to take my responsibility in that. And for the areas that I opened the door to strife, in anger, in depression, in no control over emotions. This is what this marriage was day in and day out. And it drained the life out of me. And I'm not here today to blame anybody or anything. I take my responsibility in it. And I know full well where I missed it. I know full well where I missed the leading of the Holy Spirit. And that goes back to this. I was trying hard. But what good is trying hard if there's no power in it? I didn't call on the mercy of God. And it was hard, and it just got harder and harder, and then so much going on. And I'm not going to get into the details of it today. But I wanted to talk to you about this because just kind of give you an overview here. August of 2004, she moved to Norman, Oklahoma. And I was staying here, and I was commuting on the weekends. And things weren't getting any better. They only grew worse. And finally, I think it was January 1st, 2005. We spent, I think, in the neighborhood of 8 hours on the phone that day, just yelling at each other, tearing each other down, putting each other down, and just blowing these huge holes in our hearts. And I remember hanging up that night with my head hung low, thinking something has got to change. I got to find a way to get put back together here. What is going on? So I called her and said, I'm not coming up there for a little while. I'm going to separate from this, and I don't know what I'm going to do. I got to breathe. I can't breathe. I don't know what's going on. I just got to step out of the strife just long enough to get my bearings and to know and to let the Lord talk or something. And the next 2 or 3 months were some of the hardest of my life. And it all culminated into a day. I had been living with Mom and Dad, this little rent house we were in. And I remember several family members were there that day. We were just standing on the driveway. It was any other day. And a guy pulled up at the head of the driveway, got out of his car, and started walking down the driveway to us. And I knew what it was. And he walked up to me and said, "Are you Jeremy?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "I need you to sign for this." And she had filed for divorce. And everything in you wants to be strong, right? Everything in you wants to stand and say, well, if that's the way it's going to be, then that's the way it's going to be. Man, it hurt. It was hard, and it was my goodness, it was a struggle. And the thing that hurt so much, the thing that was so hard, was the amount of guilt and the amount of shame that I felt like I had to live with day after day after day. And just thinking, I'm just another statistic now. Just another church statistic. And it was so difficult and it was so hard. And just dealing with coming face to face with where I'd missed it and things I'd done wrong. Now listen, I need to say this to you right here. I'll stand here and speak for me, okay? Through the course of this thing, you would not believe the rumors that I've heard about me from friends in church. Now I'm going to lay some options on the table for you today. Because plenty's been said, plenty's been written, and plenty has been circulated. So when you hear, if you do, I'm going to give you several options of things you can do. Number one, you can hear about it, and then you can go and talk to other people about it. And you can talk about me behind my back, if you'd like to do that. You can't actually find that in the Word, but if that's what you choose to do, then so be it. Number two, if you hear something and it just bugs you and you want to know, and you just have to know, and you just have to know if it's true, and you just have to know if it's right, then come to me, okay? We'll talk about it. I'll tell you. I'll tell you what happened. I'll tell you where it went, and I'll tell you whatever the Lord lets me tell you. But your third option is this. If you hear something or something said to you, you can, I don't know, start thinking about everything you've been forgiven of. Your other option is to start thinking about mercy in your life. Your third option is to start thinking about the second chance and the third chance that we've all been given. Okay, so that's in your court. You do with that what you see fit. But as for me, there was such a long time there where I had to wake up day after day after day, and something began to hit me. And it was when I got up and I realized that in the middle of all of this, these two people, Mom and Dad, were still there. This is a high-profile family, relatively. People know your name, people know where you come from. And they could have very easily said, Jeremy, why don't you pack up and maybe go someplace and get restored, and we'll be here for you when you come home. But no, they drew me closer. Mercy. Mercy. When I realized my sister still stood by me, and my cousins stood by me, and my grandparents stood by me. And I went to them and talked to nobody else. Talked to nobody else about what happened, nobody else about who I thought was to blame, but only about what I knew I said and did wrong. And they still stood there. That was the demonstration of the mercy of God in my life. And these two right here, Marcus and Sharon, the best friends a man could ever hope for, opened their lives to me. We've been friends for so long, but in the middle of where I needed it the most, and people were coming to them saying, is this true, is this true? And they just shut their mouths. And they would say nothing to nobody. And yet they opened their home to me, made a place for me to sleep. And Sharon, for so long, cooked 3 meals instead of 2. And gave me a place to eat, and gave me a place to come. And I remember night after night, getting ready to dig into something she made, and just tears began to pour down my face. Can't believe I'm going through this. I can't believe what a mess I've made and what I've done. But yet mercy was there. They stood and they stood and they stood. Through people talking about them. Through people that quit talking to them because of me. They stood and they stood and they stood. Oh, give thanks unto the Lord for His mercy. His mercy endures forever. And I told the Lord, when this separation was over 2.5 years ago now, and divorce has been done, it's over and done with, and has been for quite some time. But I told the Lord, all throughout that, and at the end of it, when it was all said and done, I said, if you ever see fit to give me the opportunity to do this again, if it's within your mercy, if it's within your kindness to bring somebody into my life and trust me to be a husband, I know that it will be nothing short of the mercy of God. That whoever it is, she's going to be the mercy of God in my life. And 3 months ago, the Lord saw fit to introduce me to somebody. And I thought I was something special because, she and I never met, and she lived far away, and the Lord was talking to me about it months before we ever met. And I thought, wow, the Lord's really laying this out for me. But what I found out was that I was several months behind. This is something He'd been working on for so long, and the Lord saw fit to bring somebody into my life. And the moment I met her, the Lord said, this is the mercy of God on you. And the only way I know to put it, is Tuesday, March 7th, my life was one way. Or Tuesday, March 6th, or March 7th, Wednesday, March 8th, the day I met Sarah, my life was different forever. Do you want to meet the mercy of God? Amen. The Lord is good. And I wish I could tell you that from the moment the Lord talked to me about it, that, that was it for me and I was sold and I didn't do anything. I mean, I know that there was one day praying on a Wednesday, sometime in January, I believe, before a service, the Lord kept talking to me about this girl I'd seen a picture of. All I'd seen was this picture. And He kept talking to me about her. Never met her, nothing. We've never met, talked, emailed, nothing. And I got up from that prayer time trying to pray about service, but finally said, okay, Lord, you want to talk about Sarah? Let's talk about Sarah. And He laid it out for me. And I invited 1440 and reserved some seats for you guys because I wanted you to see this firsthand today. That I should have known. I should have been able to recognize God when He was working in my life. Finally, He showed up with a name tag on and said, hello, my name is God. And I've got something for you. But you know what? You look at this and you think, oh, how noble, how wonderful. You believe God and look, and there it is. But you know what? Any one of us can come face to face with the greatest thing on the planet Earth and change your life for it. It's having enough faith to change your life before you meet. And that's why I'm talking to you young people today. We're teaching you to live on an uncommon level and with an uncommon faith. And faith says, even though I don't know him or her, He does, so I'm going to live like I do. That's faith. And all along He knew. All along He was setting me up. And from the time I prayed and He talked to me until the day I met her, there'd be those moments of confidence, yes, this is it. And then there's those moments of, you idiot, you're divorced, you've messed up every relationship you've ever been in, everything you've ever touched has fallen to pieces when it comes to this. But I should have realized, because the Lord didn't even let me touch this. He didn't even let me get involved in this. This had started in August of last year. I'm just thankful He let me be a part. The Lord had been dealing with her about something that she had never told a soul regarding me. We'd never met. When I saw that picture of her, as far as I knew, she knew nothing about me. And the Lord started talking to me about her without that knowledge. And a long story short, a great story short, a story that will make you believe in God short. This is the mercy of God in my life. And that is the reason that a couple of weeks ago, I got down on my knees in front of her and I gave her this. And you're thinking, whoa, this is fast. You know what? Absolutely. But all throughout this, the Lord has taught me the difference between, He taught both of us really, the difference between something that is fast and something that is rushed. There's a difference. Because I'm not rushed. All I have in me is an excitement. All I have in me is an anticipation. But I'm at total ease and at total peace. That is something I've never had in a relationship before. Never had. Guys, wait for the green light. And you'll know it because it'll turn green. Okay? Don't make it harder than it is. So this is Sarah Hart. This is her wonderful family here on the front row, second row, and her brothers. And I guess just stick your hands up and wave it. There you go. Welcome them. I mean, this is. I spent way too long having my feelings hurt and hurting feelings. And I'm standing here hand in hand with her today because I deserve her? Because I've done something for this? No. Because of mercy. And you're thinking to yourself, well, that doesn't really seem right. I mean, you can just mess around and just mess it all up and still get the girl. She and I've already, through the dumb choices I've made, put her in a place where she's had to make a tough decision. But I'll never forget the day she told me, she said, Jeremy, if Jesus can have mercy on me, I can have mercy on anybody. And if I don't have mercy, how do I look like him? And I said, I want to marry you. So anyway, more to come. There's more exciting news ahead. And I'd love for you guys to meet her. Sarah, this is the rest of my family. Sit down, just for a minute.